Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the two-tone top five, where I pick a category and give you my top five in that category. And today, I am really putting myself to the test because every other two-tone top five so far has had something to do with my Tennessee Titans. But today, I am trying to do the unthinkable. I am trying to list my top five favorite Indianapolis Colts of all time. I had a hard time putting this list together. Being the Titans fan that I am, I do not like the Indianapolis Colts. But I thought this might be a good challenge and it could get interesting. And so these are my top five favorite Indianapolis Colts of all time. There is no honorable mention because I had a hard enough time coming up with just five. At number five, I went with Reggie Wayne. Okay, some of you may remember Reggie Wayne. He was a wide receiver for the Indianapolis Colts back in the Peyton Manning days, back on the other side of Marvin Harrison. I always really liked the way that Reggie Wayne played. He was so agile, so quick, such a playmaker for the Colts. And Marvin Harrison got a lot of the attention back then, but Reggie Wayne, I think, is an underrated wide receiver in like NFL history. I do not like the Colts, but I will admit I liked Reggie Wayne. That's number five. Number four, I may have cheated with this one because I remember I said my top five favorite Indianapolis Colts ever. I did not specify whether it had to be a player or if it could be a coach. So I went with Coach Tony Dungy at number four. In all seriousness, I know Titans-Colts rival. I have so much respect for Coach Tony Dungy. What a class act. Obviously, he does a tremendous job on NFL, on NBC these days, doing coverage. I really like just what a good, pure, wholesome guy. And the world probably needs more people like Tony Dungy. So I've always liked Tony Dungy. Even though he was a coach of the Indianapolis Colts, won a Super Bowl with the Indianapolis Colts, I do like Tony Dungy, and I have always liked Coach Tony Dungy quite a good bit. And what a job he did in Indianapolis. You can say, well, he had Peyton Manning, he had all those guys. Tony Dungy, he was a good football coach, good man, good person to look up to, and a good analyst and covering the game. At number three, okay, we're getting back to players now. On my list of top five Indianapolis Colts, top five favorite Indianapolis Colts, I went with Marvin Harrison. And this is a tough one for me because Marvin Harrison used to give my Tennessee Titans fits back in the day. I remember one game in Nashville where Marvin Harrison, they still show this as a highlight for him whenever they talk about him. The one-handed grab where it was out a little bit in front of him, and he made the diving one-handed grab, just as filthy of a catch as you will ever see. And as a kid, when Marvin Harrison was with the Colts, I didn't know any better than to know they're rivals of us. I knew the Ravens were rivals of the Titans, but I didn't understand divisions when I was that young, so I didn't understand that the Colts were a rival of the Titans. I just rooted against the Colts when we played them like I did everybody else. But Marvin Harrison, I always loved Marvin Harrison. I was always all about Marvin Harrison because as a kid, I didn't understand. I mean, there were just players from other teams that I liked. And Marvin Harrison was one of those guys that it was just like, man, he was such a great route runner, unbelievable route runner. Obviously passed that on to his son, who is now with the Arizona Cardinals. So I've got Marvin Harrison at number three. At number two on my list of top five favorite Indianapolis Colts of all time, I went with Pat McAfee. Even though back in the day, Pat took a shot at my Titans at the draft when he came out, and it was admittedly a very good joke when he came out and said, I realize Titans fans probably don't know who I am because the Colts never punt when they play Titans, which was true back then. But in all, like, Pat McAfee, what he has done, retiring from the NFL and getting into podcasting, and to see what he has become on ESPN all the time, every day. College Game Day. He's a commentator on WWE Monday Night Raw. He does all their big shows. He's wrestled at WrestleMania. Like, he is one of the biggest names, if not, top 3 biggest names in sports media. And like, for somebody like me with a podcast like this and a channel like this, I look at a guy like Pat McAfee and I'm like, that's the dream. What he's getting to do every day, that's the dream. Like, the fact that he had something good going as a punter in the NFL and he took a chance on himself, he was willing to bet on himself and go out there and make something different of himself, knowing I can't punt forever, but I really want to get into this and I really want to see if this podcast can take off, and now look at it. How do you not root for a guy like that? I know some people have McAfee fatigue because he's everywhere and he's a lot and he's a big personality, but I'm a huge fan of Pat, and I have so much respect for him and what he has been able to do in the world of sports media. I don't remember anything he did as the punter for the Indianapolis Colts. I will admit to you, I don't remember. I remember that one time he like strutted after he made a big tackle or something on a punt team. But I don't remember anything he did as the punter of the Colts. But what he's done since then, how do you not root for that guy? And then at number 1, and this is probably going to be controversial for a lot of people. Titans fans might get on me for this one. But at number 1, I've got the Sheriff. I've got Peyton Manning. And I know, like, Peyton Manning is the biggest reason why the Colts have a Super Bowl victory over the Bears in 2006, 2007, whenever that was. I understand that Peyton Manning was the biggest reason why the Colts were so good and beat the you-know-what out of the Titans for so long. So it's a complicated thing because it's like part of you wants to hate him. Because it's like, dude, he ate us alive. But like I said when I was talking about Marvin, when I was a kid, I didn't realize the Colts were a division rival of the Titans. I loved Peyton Manning. Just like I loved Brett Favre and I loved Michael Vick as a kid. Titans were my number 1 allegiance. Steve was my number 1, Steve McNair. But I had other players on other teams that I was a big fan of, and Peyton Manning especially. I loved Peyton Manning. And his, like, ability to, you all remember, even when he went to Denver, when he would come up to the line and his, like, just, his brain was going a million miles an hour reading defenses and calling out stuff, Omaha and all that stuff. But more than that, you see him on the Manning cast on Monday nights, the stuff that he's done, like, just a good guy. I love the Manning family as a whole. I like Eli, I like Archie, I like Arch, like, I love the Mannings. They are a football family, but, like, they just seem like the nicest guys that you could get along with absolutely no problem at all, even as a Titans fan. So, I still say Peyton Manning is probably my favorite Indianapolis Colt of all time, even though it's complicated, because I hate that the Colts have a Super Bowl win within the last 20 years, and it's mainly because of him. I hate that the Colts beat the crap out of the Titans for so many years, and it's largely because of him. But I was a big Manning fan. Because as a kid, you got to keep in mind, before I realized how big the rivalry was in the AFC South there, I didn't realize. So I loved Peyton Manning as a kid, and it's hard, you know how it is, it's hard to turn that off when you get older. So I'm a big fan of Peyton and the Mannings as a whole. I liked him better when he went to Denver, and he was not with Indianapolis anymore. But there you have it. My top 5. Let me just rewind and get that logo back just for my sanity. There's my top 5 favorite Indianapolis Colts of all time. Let me hear from some Titans fans. Do you have any Indianapolis Colts players or coaches that you actually like? Notice none of mine were, I guess McAfee was the most recent one that's actually played, because I haven't liked an Indianapolis Colts player in a very long time. Let me hear from you. Let me know if there's another team you would like to see me do this with, because this about ruined me. Tighten up, everybody.